Good morning, you beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on The Walking Dead Season 1. I have finally finished playing this amazing game and just kind of let everything sink in, what happened, what decisions I made, and how it affected me. And the thing that I want to say is that this is a very beautiful way of presenting The Walking Dead. I mean, I am a huge fan of the television series. Season 5 was absolutely spectacular. The last couple of episodes of that season were fantastic in terms of questions it raised and moral issues and all that sort of stuff. Very good. The comic books also very good. I don't read the comic books, but again, it's the same kind of medium. You're presented a story, what happens, it poses questions, and it goes further than any other zombie show that we've had. And the Walking Dead game takes it even a step further. It's the same universe, it's the same, I want to say, lore in terms of what the comic book has. Like the Glenn we see and the Herschel we see are the same ones that we see in the comic book, just at different times, of course. So the difference being able to actually interact with those people and these events. It takes it on a very personal level that I really enjoy. Even though it's not technically a game, in my opinion, it's not something where you have to beat it really quickly. It's an on-rail decision maker kind of movie almost, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. I shouldn't, at least I don't personally want to figure out puzzles and figure out how to open doors or whatever the typical puzzle games include. Even though there's a little bit of that in The Walking Dead, and that's not bad at all. Those are a nice change of pace to actually get it to become a game. But, you know, The Walking Dead is about the characters. It's about the personalization that you put into it, and it's about your decisions. And I think that's something Telltale did very well. Now, as I was playing this, and towards the end especially, I was kind of frustrated because when you get that end card that shows you all of the decisions you made, and especially at the end of episode 4, where it showed you how many different people you could be with. You can be with just Ben, you can be by yourself, you can be with just Kenny and all that sort of stuff. I was like, oh, that's so cool. But then as I played episode 5, I was just reunited with them. So being just with Ben, in the end, didn't really matter. And that kind of frustrated me because that's kind of how the decisions went. Like, no matter if you decided to save Duck, no matter if you decided to save the Herschel's son would die, and, you know, Kenny would either like you or not like you, and Herschel would either like you or not like you. And that's basically what that decision was, just masked as, you know, who are you going to save and all that sort of stuff. And that was frustrating for me because I was like, well, at the end, it just doesn't matter because the game's going to end the same way either way. And it does. If you play the game, you are going to have basically the same ending. But this is really cheesy. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey to get there. And I know that sounds so stupid and so Kurt J. Mac-like. But honestly, that's exactly what this game is. You see, I was mad because what I was doing in the game wasn't affecting the game, and it's not supposed to. What's happening in the game is supposed to affect me, and that's the kind of reversal it does. The game is supposed to change me, whereas it's presented that I am supposed to change the game. And I thought that was very interesting. One of the key points, and I've spoken about this in my actual playthrough if you've seen, in episode 1, in the first, I guess it would be like first 5 episodes of my actual series, but the first episode of The Walking Dead Season 1, I chose to not give the girl in the motel the gun to shoot herself with. She had been bitten, she was basically a death sentence, and she just wanted to die, and she ultimately wrestled the gun away from us and shot herself. But 2 episodes later, in episode 3 of The Walking Dead Season 1, there was a girl who was bit, who was out in the street, who was actually calling for help. and I decided to actually shoot her, to put her down, to take her out of her misery. And that's one of the best examples I could give you of how the game changed me. In the beginning, now I actually might give her the gun. The game has put me through stuff. It has showed me how cruel this world can be, and it has changed my outlook on it. It has affected me, and that's so interesting. That's something that I didn't expect to happen while playing this game. I thought I was going to be invested in the characters and sad when they died. No, I was invested in myself, and more so I was invested in Clementine as well, and I'll get to that part later. But that's just one of those examples how beautiful this game can be at times, how interesting it can be, and make you think differently. And of course, I do like the overall presentation of the game itself. You are trying to get Clementine back to her parents. Playing through it, actually I didn't play through it again, but editing through all of this stuff kind of gives me a chance to look at all the details that I missed on my playthrough. There was a bear trap in the beginning of episode 2. And that was the same bear trap that at the end of episode 2, the brothers in the barn, or the cannibals, were actually setting up bear traps, and it just clicked. It was like, oh, that's what they were doing. They were catching people, and the person whose leg I cut off was their bait. That was their catch. They were going to do that, and they were going to eat him. And that's one of those details that they don't throw in your face. They don't need to throw in your face because they know it's there. They know it's so cool, and they know somebody is going to find it. And I thought it was just so interesting like that. And also another one, when you're listening to Clementine's parents' messages, episode 1, you get there, she says, the mother says about the father, some crazy guy bit him. And it's just like, at that moment, watching it back again, it's like, oh, he's bitten. He's dead. There is no hope. So throughout this entire series, I had been thinking, maybe they're not dead. Maybe they're okay. Whereas in episode 1, the game basically says, Clementine's parents are bitten. They're dead. What are you going to do? And it's like, that changes the dynamic, because so many times you have to reassure Clementine, talk to your parents over the radio, pretend we're going to go get your parents. We're going to go, save your parents. Whereas you should have known in the back of your mind, they're bitten, they're dead. And it's so small. It's such a great little detail. Maybe I'm oblivious. Maybe all this stuff is obvious the first playthrough, but maybe I'm stupid. But I just thought it was really, really cool how they just bait and switched you right at the beginning. It's just so great looking back on it. As far as the characters go, I love Clementine. Clementine's the best. I mean, just sitting there in the trailer, when I first saw you, I was gonna drop a hammer on your head. It was just, she's the best. When you do a child in a game, you have to be very careful, because children can be very annoying in video games, and especially like escort mission type stuff, which I guess that's not really part of this game, but protecting somebody, it almost feels like a burden in a lot of games. This one, towards the end, I think like episode 4, you can really start to hear it. Like, I do not want to leave Clementine with anybody. I don't trust Ben, I don't trust Kenny, I don't trust really anybody except Omid and Krista to actually take care of her. And so I took her along in a dangerous place, but she was with me, so I thought she would be safe. So I thought that was really cool. The way they present the characters in this game, they're all very dynamic. They're all very in detail. There is some games can get in that very two-dimensional. He is this character, and that's who he is. Very flat, one-dimensional characters. This one, it's like even Ben, when you meet him in episode 2, he's just kind of the goofy, really klutzy, clumsy, derpy teenager, and towards the end of episode 4, you're really not liking Ben. He can't do anything right. He's just a detriment to the group, and he's gonna get you killed one of these days. And he got Kenny killed, and it's like, what can he do right? But there's a scene that I was luckily enough to get where he just goes off on Kenny. He gets so mad and upset at Kenny. He's like, you don't know about me. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know what I've lost. I don't know what I've lost, and it's just like, Here's this kid who's supposed to be this flat, two-dimensional or one-dimensional character, and he has depth, he has a storyline, and it was like, Ben, I hate you so much. You're so derpy and weird. But you gotta care for him, you know, you gotta love him because he's this hurt person, he's this wounded person, can't do anything right, but he's still a human being, he's still a person, you know. Omid and Krista, they're probably the least developed, but Omid is super funny. He was probably the one I like the most, probably my favorite character. Always cracking jokes to kind of deflect with humor, that's totally me, that's totally how I would be in the zombie apocalypse. Krista, never once is it mentioned. Actually, I guess it might be mentioned in like a subtle line here and there. She's pregnant, you know, so you have to care for her because she's pregnant. She's really aggressive. She's really all about protecting Clementine. Are you sure you should be safe? Is this the right way? She's very mean about it sometimes, but she's reasonable about it. Like, she has a baby in her belly, so she's going to be very protective. And that's honestly something I considered when telling her, you know, you need to take care of Clementine. And you know, Kenny's probably my least favorite character. I really hate Kenny. I mean, I was Kenny's main man. Like, the first 3 episodes, I was all about Kenny. I saved Duck. I gave Duck the candy bar. I was all about Kenny. I even trusted him about the stuff in the barn. And the only reason that he hates me, the only reason he doesn't trust me is because I didn't murder Larry with him. You know, I tried to actually save a human life that we didn't know was dead. We still don't know if he was dead or not. You know, I mean, people say, and he says himself, you know, he might come back, and then what are we going to do? It's like, well, if he comes back, like, he's not going to just pounce, you know, he's not just gonna, like, we're gonna know if he's alive or if he's reanimated. We can kill him then. So just because of that decision, every time he needs to save my life, he doesn't. Every single time that he needs to come with me, he doesn't. You know, he is just the most selfish, backstabbing, really coward out there. You know, I even said, you know, in that freezer, if it were Duck or if it were Katja, could you do the same thing? And he just completely is in denial. It will never come to that. And it's just, he's a bad person. But what The Walking Dead did is in episode 3, when Katja kills herself, when Duck dies, it's like nobody should have to go through that. And it makes me care, even for the person that I really dislike and who is a really bad person at heart. So yes, he's just looking out for his family, but he's just looking out for himself, and that is not how you survive together. That's not how you survive. And so overall, all of the characters, you know, Lily in the beginning, Carly, Ben, not Ben, but what's that other guy's name? I forget his name at all. The guy that you could choose to save instead of Carly. He was good, he was fun, and that was a tough decision looking back on that, watching those videos again. Very, very tough decision, but all of the character development, very, very good. Overall, this game is very, very good. I was very impressed. I am really impressed with this game. If you have, it was out for Xbox Live Gold members, and so that's why I got it. It was like a discounted price for episodes 1, 2, and the DLC for like $20. It was a steal of a price, already worth its money in the first episode, or in the first season. Now I have to play the DLC and episode 2, which I've heard is not as good, but I don't know. I think it'd be interesting, so we'll see about that. Tell me your guys' thoughts on the series. Have you guys been watching it? What do you like? What decisions would you have made in place of mine? Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm excited for my next Let's Play, and until the next absolutely beautiful Walking Dead morning, I'll catch up with you guys later. And as always, have a great day.